I designed the shirt the kid on the Bad Bunny album Yo Hago Lo Que Me De La Gana. I did not know it was going to be for the album cover. I just knew it was going to be for a Bad Bunny and single cover. That's what I was told. I think they gave me, I think I had 2 days.
Can an artist really think about how they present themselves to the world?
Gosh, if people just knew like what I have to go through. Sometimes I don't have the time to give them that, right? It depends who I'm working with. Like one of the artists that I've started from the beginning and we've evolved so much is with Yaritza y Su Esencia. They're like my babies, and when we first started working together, you know, it's all about your personal style. They say find a niche, fine. You really honestly have to be ready to present that. So if you're gonna be strategic and be like, hey, I'm only gonna wear green, I'm only gonna wear baby blue, then just go with baby blue.
Welcome to La Artisteada with Kiara González Durán. Hi everyone, welcome to our new episode of La Artisteada on season 4 in partnership with Univision 34. Today I'm super excited to talk fashion, to talk all about the world of fashion in music, film, and TV. So let's go. Today, our guest is Bo Roses. She is a fashion stylist and costume designer who, as she likes to say, was born in Mexico, raised in San Diego, and became self-made in LA. She took the risk to move to LA to become personal stylist and then got her first role as a fashion stylist on a music video for Lil Jon featuring Tyga, and since then, she has worked with amazing artists and brands, including Adidas, the Chainsmokers, Chal, and I have to say my personal favorite, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, also known as Bad Bunny. Welcome, Bo!
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
We are excited to have you and talk all things fashion. So let's start maybe with an easier question. Now that you're in the world of fashion, what is a trend that you think is here maybe this summer?
Honestly, I'm gonna be really honest. I'm not someone who really follows trends.
Okay.
It's just what feels good.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the trends that I probably would say is coming this summer. Let's see. I would say like the ruffles and like kind of like think of like Esmeralda, kind of like that vibe. I feel like that would be a good summer. Like,
Ruffles. Excuse my lack of English. Listones, or what's
Listones?
ruffles?
No, it's como I feel like Shakira in like the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
Like a little bit more like bailar, Latina, dancing. I feel like that's gonna be very fun this summer, and like chains and just obviously your tan's gonna help with all your colors. I feel orange is gonna be a good color. That lime green, not neons, but more summery fun in between spring, but yeah, not too summery neons. Just don't do neons.
Okay, avoid the neons. Noted. And why don't you follow trends?
I don't follow trends because I'll feel like I'll take something of what I feel like it's like, oh my gosh, kitten heels and Bermuda pants are definitely the summer staples. So kitten heels, it's just a little thong kitten heel, like half
short.
an inch.
Oh, you know that's crazy because I personally don't love short heels, and I'll tell you why. I feel like I am size 9.5 in shoe size. I feel like my feet look like super long with short heels. Do you not feel like that happens to like people with big feet?
Honestly, no. No, but I feel like maybe that's just something that you've been projecting, that you're like, oh my God, it looks it looks big, but no. Like, look at my pointy.
Yeah, no.
You know, so that's basically what your feet looks, and it doesn't look bad.
Okay, but those are tall heels, no?
These are tall heels. I personally don't like the kitten heels either.
Okay.
And only because I want to be taller. So that kitten heel, it's just, it doesn't give me that. Like, I wear clothes because I want to feel good. And if it's a trend, it looks good on the trend, but if it doesn't make me feel good, I'm not gonna wear it. I'm not gonna feel comfortable. And that's why I don't follow trends, because I want to feel comfortable in whatever I'm wearing. So if I'm not feeling it, I'm not gonna wear it.
Is there any fashion piece of clothing or something that you were like, I do not want this to come back, and then when it like came back, you were like, okay, maybe I'll try it on.
I think the super low-waisted pants, the Y2K, I feel like some things of the Y2K I love. I love like Sex and the City, like looks more feminine, but the super low-rise jeans, I just, no.
I feel you. And I feel you because I was also like, I will never go back to the low rise jeans because I love the mom jeans. But I did kind of fall for it. Like right now, yeah.
I did too. I kind of went back into my J-Lo era, Shakira. I feel like we can do it, just not do it. Because I feel like before they were just so tight, right? And then, I mean, I have hips, so if you put me, it's gonna cut me, and it's just not gonna fit well. So now I'm like, okay, I just go a little bit bigger, and then it's gonna be a little bit looser, and it's not gonna be so tight. And I think that's what it was in Y2K era. It was just so tight, like it just squishes you. Y se te sale la lonja, and it's just no. So now I feel like I know how to do it better, and I'm like, okay, I could do the low waist.
Yeah, you know, my personal insecurity, and I'm going to share my personal insecurity with everyone listening right now about those jeans specifically. I'm like, I don't have a big butt. I would argue I have a very small butt, and I think that those pants like make any sort of apparent butt disappear. So I was like, I will never wear these. But you know what? I'm like, whatever, so be it. Because I think they look very cute from like you look very like long and stylish, and I really like that. So I'm like, unas por otras. You know, I just have to accept my face sometimes.
Accepting it, it's okay to wear. You just will elevate it a little bit. I feel like just adding like a little scarf or a belt, it's gonna take away from anything. But it's very important to know your body and what fits well. Because if it doesn't suit you, don't do it. And I feel like that's what trends, you know, just because it's a trend doesn't mean it looks good on you.
Yeah, I agree, but I've tried to make it work.
I'm sure it looks good. I should come back and style you, and we can do like a little Y2K staple.
Oh my gosh, let's do it! I am ready. And okay, so I would love to hear about like your inspiration. Like, why did you even think that you would do this as a career when you were growing up?
What inspired me since I was a little girl, it definitely started with watching novelas and movies. I mean, I've been watching all the movies with Maria Felix, Cantinflas, and more with Maria Felix. Yes, her style, her essence. There's just something about her that I really loved. And then the novelas, which right now I feel like a lot of people reference to them, and that's kind of like where I started my whole love with fashion. And I mean, I remember my mom always telling me it's not what you're wearing, it's how you wear it. And I know that started because I never went to the mall growing up. Everything was just swap meets and secondhand clothes. And she just planted that like confidence in me. And I never knew that I was wearing secondhand clothes. And I just I put everything in style, everything so nice. And it was just so natural to me. But I just knew I wanted to be a fashion designer. That's what I wanted to be, like a Saint Laurent, Versace. And obviously, as my journey has gone, now I want to be more collab with brands or designers. But since I was little, I've always loved clothes and fashion. Didn't Maybe when I was little, I didn't really know that's what I was gonna do. I think I wanted to be a lawyer or an architect, and but I got inspired by las películas, las novelas.
Yeah. And then like I think that the border, you are from San Diego, like you were raised in San Diego. I think that the border has a very specific culture to it that doesn't reflect that culture is like very particular to the border, like your proximity to to a different country, right? And I think that that translates in like culture or like our understanding of life. Like me being from Tijuana, I remember that on that side, I was like, oh my gosh, like the US, like I want to listen to music in English and I want to be like Katy Perry and like all these things. But then I think on this other side, like it just also feels like everybody speaks perfect Spanish in San Diego, perfect Spanish and perfect English. And your understanding of the Mexican culture, I do think that it's a little bit different from other places that are a little bit like even LA. I think that it changes a little bit. Like, what was that for you in terms of how you understood your culture and what you could be within the entertainment, like, yeah, the entertainment industry?
Yeah. I feel that like I mean you make a point where like I was raised in San Diego and with my mom always making sure that we never forgot our culture. I mean when I went home everything was in Spanish. She just makes sure that we never felt ashamed or different. And I don't think I really knew that you have to be one or the other. And so for me it wasn't until I came to LA that it felt like oh like it's different like but I didn't grow up that way so it wasn't like that for me.
And particularly because you grew up in Barrio Logan, right?
Barrio Logan,
that
yeah.
has a very big Chicano history and Chicano pride as well. Like, can you talk also a little bit about that?
Growing up in Barrio Logan and being the Chicano culture so big, I admire the way they dress so much. Like I just loved it, and I never saw it as like they're cholos or cholas or. And I remember they inspire me, and I want to dress like them. But I didn't know that if you dress like that, it could make you look like you're something or. And I remember my mom like, oh, I want the las chanclas que se ponen with the socks and then like the flannel jacket and the jeans and the boxers sticking out. And I just loved it. And I honestly saw it as a style, but I didn't really know the culture behind it. You know, it's like it's almost like you earned that style. And I didn't know that it was more earned than me seeing it as like my natural self, like, oh my God, I love the way that looks. I want to dress like that. And I mean, and I feel like that culture is very, very strong in Los Angeles. And I remember mom was like, no, you can't dress like that. And I'm like, but why? And when I came to LA, I felt safe doing it, but with a lot of respect. I honestly, like with what Willie Chavarria is doing, the way he mixed it, high fashion and that Chicano fashion. I mean, I don't know if that's even the right term to say Chicano fashion, but that's how I saw it, and I loved it. And but you know, highlighted, but in a respectful way. And I mean, I loved it. I saw it as a style rather than.
Yeah, I think it's so powerful that you mentioned that because I like. You mentioned also that your parents like were in Tijuana earlier in our conversation before the camera started shooting.
We had a connection.
Yeah. And I think that for me also when I came here first to the United States, I literally told all my family, and my family wasn't like I knew that there was kind of like some prejudice behind and I think because of a lot of ignorance of US history and like Chicano presence and movements in the US that like the suits, right? Like this is where a lot of that stuff started. And because of the ignorance of this, it was like it's pushed away. Like as an immigrant, your parents were like, no, no, no. But I remember when I came here, I also like just like you, I like admired it so much. Yes. I was like, I want to be a chola like here. And it's interesting because to me, like I also perceived it as something really cool. But then there's so much prejudice around it. And I don't know if particularly in San Diego, but also I'm like, oh my gosh, are we the same person? Because I also, when I came to LA, I think that my understanding of that shifted so much. Like even wearing arcadas, see, I was like, hoops. I was like, wow, like I can't do this here and be and just exist and be and like again, I'm also like not I don't self-identify as Chicana because I didn't grow up fully in the United States, but I admire the culture so much from like being Mexican and being part of these spaces that I'm like, oh my gosh, I relate so much to what you're saying. And then when did you make the decision to come to LA? Like what pushed you to be like, okay, I'm gonna risk it all?
I feel like my career started retail in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And I also style all my friends all the time. And when I finally decided to do the leap of faith, move to LA, not really knowing what the future holds. Mm. And I started here just personal styling, my friends, word of mouth. And I mean, my whole career has been word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And my network just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. Mm-hmm. And I remember one of my clients that I kind of knew that he was a producer, but I didn't really know what that meant, right? Mm-hmm. So I was just styling him and his wife. And then one time there was a conversation. They were like, oh, would you like to work in the entertainment and do a music video? And I was like, duh, but how do I do that? And he was like, oh, I'll introduce you to a wardrobe stylist, costume designer. And I was like, okay. And a few months passed and nothing. And then finally, like, it kept coming up, but nothing ever happened. So I kind of like, whatever. If it happens, it happens. And he was
you were still working with this producer as a personal stylist?
Yes. I mean, I had a lot of clients at that time. So I had different clients. He was just one of them. He's the one that opened that door for me. Mm-hmm. And the, costume designer calls me and she's like, hey, I have a music video. And that was the Little John music video. And she was like, well, what's your resume? And I was like, oh my gosh, like butterflies on my stomach. And I was like, well, I'm a personal stylist. And she's like, oh, okay, well, that's very different than what this is. And I mean, she's speaking a language that I have no idea what she means. Like, why would it be different in my head? Like, why would it be different? We meet up, she hires me, and I worked with her for a year.
Oh, wow. On different music videos.
Yes, she was a wardrobe stylist transitioning into film. Okay. So she became a costume designer. So that's how I was able to learn both. Mm-hmm. So I work with her learning music videos, commercials, film, and yeah, that's how Bow Roses started.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Yeah. I love this story, this origin story. So when you were being recommended, like I'm wondering, were you putting, I think today in today's age of social media, personally, like as someone that doesn't really work in fashion specifically, I've seen that a lot of stylists put their content out there, and it's a lot about putting their work on social media. Was that part of your beginnings, or was it mostly word of mouth, like people recommending you? And were you asking for those recommendations?
I feel like even 10 years ago when I started, when that was my first opportunity, I don't think social media was that big. I feel like social media and content was more maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe a little bit. And no, everything it's just been, I worked with her for a year, almost a year and a half. And then eventually I spread my wings and went on my own. And a lot of the jobs that I did with her that she couldn't do, she would recommend me. And from that project, they would recommend someone else. And since then, it's just been like that. Everything, my network just kept growing and growing. I try to get a little better with social media and content, but that's also like a whole job on its own.
Yeah.
But I'm great at posting stories,
Mm-hmm.
but posting the work, I'm gonna be investing more on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's very important nowadays to post your work because
Yeah.
that's your, before it was a website, now it's your Instagram, your socials are your resume.
Mm-hmm. And for that first opportunity, when she interviewed you and asked you about your experience, like, did you feel ready for that? So you mentioned that it's very different. How, after doing that first music video, what did you realize that, oh my gosh, this was different? And did you feel like you were meeting that expectation?
I understood what she meant. She's like, it's different. And what was different was just the lingo, the behind the scenes, breaking down a script, a treatment, talking to directors, talking to the producers, working on your budget, who's assisting you. Like there's a lot of coordination. You know, you wear many hats when you're styling or like any other department. You wear many hats, depends on the budget. Um, so that's where I understood it's different, right? So as a stylist, you email me a treatment, break it down. We're gonna have these many characters, this many scenes, all this. As a stylist, I would have not even know what that meant, right? And working with her and gaining that experience on set, I understood. I was like, I shadow her. I was a sponge. I really wanted it. I really, really, really wanted it. And one of the things that she told me was like, you can't teach talent. So that's very true. That talent I already had. The drive, I feel, being Latina, Mexicana, we work very hard. And it took me a while to feel comfortable in a world that I never knew before.
Mm-hmm.
And I always work very hard because I want them to know that I have so much love and passion with what I do. But it was almost like I want to prove myself, but I didn't have to prove myself because the talent is there. I'm good at what I do. And that was like the difference, like understanding that I belong there, I'm good, I'm talented, but I just didn't know the language. And Spanish is my first language, so it kind of felt the same way, like coming into a new country and not really knowing the language. And that's kind of how I felt, but I'm familiar with that because that's how when I came to the States, that's how it was. So it was almost like the same feeling, but just in a different world.
Yeah. So you're like, I've been through this. I achieved. So let's go for the next one. And then for the first show, so we talked about the first music video. What was the first show or film production that you worked on?
I don't remember the name of it, but it's two of them. One was a very big film, big shoes to fill in, and it's called Range 15. If you go to my IMDb, you'll find the film. And that movie had so many cameos where, I mean, you name it, so many famous people. And it was such a fun film to work on. But I feel like it kind of like jaded me because I kind of expected for every film to be that way. And it's not that way. But it was like, I was like, oh my God, this is great. I love this. I mean, we were working 14, 15 hours and I would wake up like I just slept 9 hours when that's not possible. And so it was a great film experience.
What is the difference between personal styling and music video? So now you're talking music video to this like big budget film.
Yeah, there's a difference as well now.
How, I guess, like literally the same questions. Like, what are the main differences from working with a music video that's probably around 3 to 4 minutes, that is maybe 1, 2, 3 days of production, versus the amount of people that you are probably working on a film? Yeah. The notes that you're probably getting from a studio that's producing this, like what are those main differences that you would hope someone, maybe another Latina out there who's wanting to be a custom designer, should know ahead of meeting their first bigger budget?
Okay, so when I did my first music video, great. Then when I do my first film, it's also different. A wardrobe stylist, so it's a personal stylist is very different than a wardrobe stylist, and a wardrobe stylist is very different than a costume designer. A costume designer, what we're doing is in that film, we are building a character. There's a whole story. It's a movie. Everyone has their individual style, and there's so many factors. There's a color palette. You have to talk to the director. There's the producers. I mean, everything matters. You have to break down days in the story. And I mean, you read a script and it's like 150 pages. And even though it was a bigger budget, my team's still not that big. So I'm wearing many hats. And I mean, I learned to do it all. But I feel like if you want to be a wardrobe stylist or you want to work in film, I feel like it is very different, but it is possible to do both. And I feel because I build my network in that way, I'm literally doing music videos, commercials, campaigns, personal styling. I'm doing it all, but most of the time, most stylists or costume designers do either one. And I'm very versatile where I'm one of the few wardrobe stylists, fashion directors, costume designers that can do it all. And I won't even flinch.
Yeah, that's intense. Like I think it's crazy because I think that as someone that didn't have anybody in the industry, right? Like when I came into the entertainment space and knew that people made movies and that was their job, I was like, wow. But then also learning that there's like whole teams for like each thing in like films and television, it's insane. And then also I heard your conversation with the lawyer Gina, and you were talking about wanting to be the first costume designer to win an Oscar. Oscar? Un Oscar. I've only said it in Spanish. You're gonna do an Oscar. Tell us why is that important for you? Why do you think that is kind of like the goal as your career right now? And how do you think would help you as you've achieved so many things? How do you think it would help you advance your career to win something like that?
Honestly, winning the Oscar, whether I'm the first Mexican American to win the Oscar, I feel like I have achieved a lot of many things, and I've been very successful. It hasn't been easy, but that's the one thing that I always said I wanted since I was little without knowing that would become a thing, and I definitely manifested it. To me, it's like God planted that on me, but it's just like why am I saying this? I'm a little delusional. Like the Lula's the only solution. And that's something that I've always wanted to do. What would happen after that? I don't know, but I feel like in something that I want to advise people is our jobs is project per project, right? And I feel like it's an adrenaline. We're like, oh my God, this is like the best thing I've done, and this, and then once it's over, it's over. And then you're like, what's next? I pray that when I win the Oscar, that feeling of happiness does not ever leave me. Like, I don't have to prove anything anymore. Not that that's gonna prove that I'm the best, but that's something I've been wanting to do, been wanting to have. And one of the things that makes me so happy is to see my work out there and to get that recognition from someone that never knew that dream would ever be real. I think that would be for my young self, little Bo, little Michelle. And yeah, I don't think it's gonna prove much like, oh, I'm the best, because I feel like I already have that in my resume. But it's something that I anhelo and I want, and I'm still working hard.
Yeah, you know, it's so insane to me that like seeing people win awards, like as someone that has worked in the industry for like the past, I guess, like 4 years, and then see people like mention people that I know. I'm like, what am I doing here? Even though no one's mentioning me, but I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy to like be just like so close, right? So when you win the Oscar, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, she was in La Artisteada, sharing about this dream.
Thank you, because we're manifesting every time we say it. So I appreciate that, and I just want. I mean, I know where I want to have my after party. I know the people. I mean, I wrote a letter of like my speech. Obviously, I get very nervous when I'm talking in person. Maybe by then I'll be a pro.
Well, you look like a pro today, so don't worry about it.
But no, I love. I'm excited, and I remember the first time I met you, I was like, oh my God, there's like a light about you, and I just want to see all of us be out there and just say like, oh, I work with her, I work with him, I work with her, and just keep that and keep paving the way.
Yeah, thank you. I thank you so much. But no, I absolutely love like continuing to see the people around us like grow together, you know? A month ago, I went to an event with Jasmine, who was also on the podcast, and then I saw like multiple people that we've been part of their journeys and they've been part of ours, like Talia Guches, who is an amazing photographer. She did her first art exhibit and we went and covered it, and before that I interviewed her literally when like La Artista didn't even exist, when I was barely trying to.
I just met her.
Oh, really?
A month ago, yes.
Isn't she iconic?
She's great.
Yeah, I love her work. And to see her like continue to grow and in some ways like continue to be part of her life, you know, it's so beautiful to see. I'm like constantly inspired by the people around me, the women around me that are achieving so many great things. But not now. Let's talk about. I said we were gonna talk about your work with Bad Bunny. Tell us about that. So tell us about how you got contacted to create the shirt. This is pretty iconic, I think. Okay, so context. Bo worked on Yo hago lo que me da la gana.
Oh.
The shirt of the kid in the album, right? Honestly, when I found that on your social media and stuff, I was like, that is crazy, because I think that as an audience and fan, you never think that there's like those details that are important, and that there is someone working on the shirt of this album, right? Like, tell us about that.
Okay, so I designed the shirt the kid on the Bad Bunny album Yo hago lo que me dé la gana. I did not know it was going to be for the album cover. I just knew it was going to be for a Bad Bunny and single cover. That's what I was told. I think they gave me. I think I had 2 days. 2 days to make this happen. They send me the design. I have to work fast. They knew what they wanted, and so now I had to source the material. Just making sure I have to find the seamstress. I still didn't work with Don Chepe yet. Everything, I did everything in the fashion district.
Wait, tell us about Don Chepe.
Don Chepe. Don Chepe. When you see Bo Roses, I always want people to think also about Don Chepe. It's like I designed this jacket and Don Chepe made it. Mm-hmm. So everything I design, Don Chepe makes it for me. Mm-hmm. And he's someone that I highlight and tell people I don't gatekeep, because he deserves the recognition, because he works very hard. And I feel like that's something that, honestly, in the entertainment that we are missing. We're in front of the cameras. Usually I am behind the cameras, but behind any project, there's people like us. And I want to applaud you, feel proud of everything, and I give that to Don Chepe. Mm-hmm. We've done so many projects, and a lot of the things that I'm able to present, it's because he is there for me, and I just trust him so much, and he knows me very well, and everything looks great because I have a great team. Mm-hmm. Because he's big part of Bo Rose's designs. Anything I designed, Don Chepe most likely made
is
it.
making.
Cosiendo.
Cosiendo, yeah.
So he's definitely a big part of my team.
That's so funny. I'm sorry. I need to like talk about how funny it is that I did this because of like the sewing, but then you did this because of the machine. Yeah. But okay. So before you sent it to Don Chepe, you were designing the clothes. That's what you were talking.
Yes.
About.
So yeah, I get the shirt. I'm like, okay, so now we have to design, find the. I mean, I had to find everything: the thread, the material, fabric. There was just like certain things. If you really look or zoom into the photo, I'm trying to remember. It's like green line stripes, and then there's blue, and then it's like a little square. I want to say this was him when he was little, and we were creating the himself. I'm assuming, and then also on the little on the shirt there is embroidery, and it's a little kite, and then it has the initials Y, Yo, H, L, whatever, all the letters. And I had hired someone to do the embroidery, and he was like, "That's too small. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it." And I'm like, "But you said yes, and now you're saying no." So now I had to find someone else to do it. And my friend Megan, she does stitching, so she did it by hand. And I mean, we executed long hours. This was during COVID. And so, not everybody's working. And I was able to, I just knew we were going to have to make it happen. You have 2 hours, then we had to ship it. And then went to Puerto Rico. And then I think like a week or 2 weeks later, it comes out on Jimmy Kimmel. Like he brings out the album, and I was like, it's for the album. I thought it was for the single cover. Oh. And yeah, so we did it in like 2 days.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's crazy because I think that at that moment in 2028, Bad Bunny was big. He was known, but I do think that that album specifically was one that really traveled and resonated as kind of like his first, even though I know it wasn't his first, even though I know he had others, but I think that that was kind of like what really put him on most. This is my personal opinion on like the more general market. So it's iconic that years later, like you were part of that journey, you know?
That crossover.
Yeah. I love that. And so since you worked with a lot of artists in film and music, I would love for you to give your advice on someone. Your advice is going to be a two-piece advice. Number one, an artist, maybe someone that's a performing artist, a musician or an actress that is trying to define their visual brand. What is some advice that you would give them in terms of like, how do they choose the colors, what to wear, what makes it cohesive in terms of how they present themselves to the world, right? Because I think that someone that I always think about branding is Fade, right? He's like, green, that's Fade. And very like, it's very out there. But then there's some other artists that like are also doing it in, maybe it's just not one color, but it's a lot of things. How can an artist really think about how they present themselves to the world?
Gosh, if people just knew like what I have to go through. Sometimes I don't have the time to give them that, right? It depends who I'm working with. Like one of the artists that I've started from the beginning and we've evolved so much is with Yaritza y Su Esencia. They're like my babies. And when we first started working together, it's all about your personal style. They say find a niche, you really honestly have to be ready to present that. So if you're gonna be strategic and be like, hey, I'm only gonna wear green, I'm only gonna wear baby blue, then just go with baby blue. I feel with an artist, my advice would be find the colors that suit you the best and make that work. And also the structure that you want. If you want very street style, stick with the street style for a minute and then eventually make that evolve and change it up. That's my best advice. And just style it, just feel comfortable, because no matter if I come in, I know what I'm doing, I know what's going to look good on you, but if you're not comfortable and confident, it's not going to look great. And I think that's a little bit of a challenge for stylists that are working with, it's almost like you have to see where they're at emotionally. If they're not ready, it's going to be a challenge, so artists should be more lenient with it or communicate like, hey, I just want to wear black. How do we make black look good? You have to have that conversation. Would I like to know with the artists that I'm working with, actors that I'm working with, what is it that you don't like? That helps me more than what you like. Because if you don't like pink, then why am I gonna bring you pink leather, pink? It's the summer color. This just doesn't work. Find where you at in that moment. Are you in like the emo era? Are you in like the wild era? Like, where are you? And figure that out and make that the best. Because I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. And something that I think about right now as you're saying this is I personally like to feel sexy everywhere I go. I'm like, I want to feel like I am my best self. And I literally a couple of like some time ago I put some picture on the internet and I was like, I'm inaugurating the formal hot concept because I go to a lot of events and I have to like dress up. But I think that there's like personally, I've evolved throughout time and I've become more confident in my identity. But then, as you said, there's days when you're like, oh, I don't want to be seen, like, and I have to show up. Do you work with people like that? And do you change how how they're being dressed when they're not feeling themselves? Or is it something that you just stick with it? This is what I have for you.
I think that's one of my gifts. I feel like I'm very good at reading the energy, and to me, it's more like learn the shark. So if they're not feeling it, they're not feeling it, whether it looks good or not, right? To me, that's what it comes. I'm not that stylist or costume designer. I'm like, I'm gonna force you to wear this because it doesn't work. It just doesn't. What I consider sexy, it's not your clothes, it's your confidence. So if you feel good, you feel sexy, you can wear literally a trash bag and you're gonna make it look sexy and good because it's what you're bringing out. It's your energy. Like, that's just what it is. And I mean, if you feel sexy, you're gonna look sexy.
Yes.
If you feel ugly, you're gonna look ugly. I don't care if I put you in the most expensive clothes. It's just because for me, sexiness, honestly, there's times where I like to show a lot and there's times where I don't. But my confidence, and I walk into a room and you just like, damn, there's something about her. She looks sexy. And that's what I want to bring out in the people I work with. Because the clothes that I'm putting on you is just more an accessory that is just going to look good. And they're going to be like, oh, you look great. But it's not that. It's not the clothes. It's really, it's you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's so powerful. But yes, definitely. It's like more inner work before 100%. The external act.
Yeah, it really, that's just how I feel. Because I'm 100%, you put me into like any closet and I'll make anything look good. But if you're not ready, internally, it's not good.
Yeah. I feel
that. And I shouldn't judge what they're going through with what I'm putting together. Yeah. And I think that's very hard for a stylist to accept because you want them to love it. You want them to like it. You want everyone else to like it. But sometimes it's not just only you. There's other factors.
Last question, like as a Latina who most likely you show up in different places where you're probably the only one that looks like you or not, right? What is some advice that you can give or something that you think creatives of color should know about working as a fashion stylist or working in the fashion industry under today's day and age?
My advice to upcoming stylists, being in a room where you feel that there's not too many like you or that looks like you or share the same, I guess, likes in a sense. I would say you're there for a reason, so own the space, just feel confident, be happy, don't question yourself too much. Um, it's something that I'm kind of like telling myself at the same time, because I mean, like, I've been doing it for like 10 years, and there's times where I still go through those moments where I'm like, do I belong here? Or I feel like I have to prove something. You don't have to prove anything. Like I said, you can't teach talent, something that I was told in the beginning of my career, and that's very true. You can't teach talent. It's just give it your all. Don't give 90, don't give 100, give 110. And from my experience is that has put me where I am now. I've done a lot of big projects, big names, and I know a lot of that is not only because of my talent, but it's just like my work ethic.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love talking with you. I'm like taking note on all these things, because I think that as someone that has that is in front of the camera often, I just take my wardrobe and people tell me like, oh, but you dress nice, but I'm like, but I don't know if I'm consistent, But I was taking note of the things that you were saying. Now I'm gonna go back to my closet and be like, okay, let's be more creative and thoughtful about this.
My advice would be figure out which colors look great on you. Mm-hmm. Once you figure that out, then you're not gonna buy what doesn't look good. Yeah. Colors are very, very important.
What are your colors?
Definitely spring, warm tones. Warm tones are my colors. Any cool tones? No, don't work for me.
Yeah, I feel like
pastels do not work on me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today. I was so excited to hear about your journey, because you have so much great experience working in different industries, which I think is rare. People often in the industry tell you like, stick to one thing, right?
I have to come back. Invite me again, because that's another thing, and I would love to hear what they think, because that's something I struggle with. You can't box me. Mm-hmm. I'm literally one of the few that is so versatile that I can't be boxed in. But that's something that I'm going against, because they're like, no, find your niche, find this. And I'm like, but I can do it all. Mm-hmm. And I literally can. So
yeah, and I think that the power of social media has allowed people to kind of like expand that. But I do think that traditionally and historically the industry has pushed people to do one thing. And I remember before, and I have to say this, before my first day in my first job in the entertainment industry, I called this guy that was an executive, and I was like, can you give me advice? Like, what should I know? And he was like, Yara, don't let anybody tell you that you can only do one thing. Oh. Like, regardless if the company's like, you're just this and you can't do, sometimes maybe you have to push the limits and stop, or figure out if you want to stop if somebody says anything. But this industry has so many things to offer that you have to explore, and don't let anybody ever put you in a box. And I was like, thank you, Britain.
100%.
And I hold this up until this moment, right? But thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
We're excited for your journey and for you to win the Oscar as a costume designer. And thank you everybody for being here and listening to this conversation. We hope that you feel inspired. Share it with your friends, with people that want to know about different creative journeys, or with people that want to be stylists and are figuring out their careers. We hope that you feel inspired and just go and create after this episode. Thank you for being on La Artisteada in partnership with Univision 34.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of La Artisteada, a media collective for global culture shapers. Make sure to subscribe and let us know how your art is impacting the world around you on our social media channels at la.artisteada. This episode could not be possible without the amazing team behind it, Erin Jimenez, Diego Lopez de Anda, and myself, Kiara. See you on the next episode.